Good evening, Bruin fans, and welcome to Wrapup here of Season 5 here of Something Bruin with Coach Cook and Rashad. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, much rather be coaching and prepping and getting ready for tomorrow night's matchup, but, our season ended a week too soon.
Right. Yes, well, the thing is, we had a great season. The team, played tough last week, but when you go on the road, playing someone else's environment, but I think we have a nice nucleus here to springboard here into the off season and then for the 26th season.
Correct. We told our guys we exceeded expectations this year, especially with the injury bug that we face week to week. That small piece of adversity, and our boys responded very well, and that's a result of a 6-4 record. I think we averaged close to about 11 guys out each week. But all things considered, we never made those excuses or a part of our circumstance. Our guys came to work every day, and our staff came to work every day. Going into the postseason play, I shared with the guys, you got days, not weeks.
Right.
You got days. So we stack 5 to 7 days each week in the playoffs versus we'll get it next week. That's why you get 10 guaranteed. But all in all, just proud of our boys' resilience, the way they competed. Hats off to LC Bird. It was a very close game for 3 quarters. And, I think what showed up was going into playoffs, you want all your guys. You want good on good ball. You want to be clicking on all cylinders. And we just didn't have that this season.
Yeah, and the other thing is yes, we did have to go on the road, but the thing is there in the first quarter, you talk about weeks versus days, regular season versus postseason. There in the first quarter from Jump Street, you could tell that this was playoffs, win or go home here, as they started with better field position than we did. But, the defensive battle that started there in the first quarter.
Correct. I think it was a game plan that, we installed to stop what they like to do, and that's run the ball.
Right.
And our defense did a phenomenal job, throughout the night. It's just some small details that we needed to be keys to victory from a defensive side. And we just weren't able to get that accomplished. That's not any concern or question of our defense coordinator. It's just some base schemes that we installed that we assured our kids, if you do this, this will happen or that will happen. And sometimes, we're coaching 14 to 18-year-old young men, so we don't know much, right? We've been around and back. But, all in all, we're not making those excuses, right? That's not why the postseason wrap-up is for, but to paint a picture for someone who didn't see what you saw, Mark, it just kind of makes it make sense, for lack of better terms. But I thought they did well. We tackled well, we inserted well. We just needed to set the edge or contain the edge, if that makes sense, in the type of power football they wanted to play.
Yes, and with going 460 when you passed exit 54 on 95,
right.
A little college stomping grounds. Wasn't too far from where you played.
Yeah, every now and again we call it the land of Troy, right? But it's known as the Hill, right? So V-State, not too far away, and we took 460, so it was such a peaceful ride. You look at memory lane, what I mean? College is like the 4 best years of your life that you'll ever get. You get a whole lot in a little bit of time, and then hopefully you can apply all the years of experience, going in and coming out to be the best version. But the atmosphere was the atmosphere, right? And their fans came and our fans showed up. So it was a good football, game. And from an offensive standpoint, they're good at stopping the run.
Yeah.
Their weakness is the back end. And we took shots. Coach Addy took shots that he needed. We were able to establish a run game, albeit 2 to 3, 4 yards. But it's football, But we just didn't capitalize on some of the key plays that could have really given us some breathing room, if that makes sense. And some costly turnovers kind of stall drives and things like that. But again, it's football. It takes 11 guys to be successful. It's never one.
Yeah, and the other thing is listening to, with helping you guys out, helping rolling out there from 14 to 17, I meet with the team, there when they're the playoffs, and if you don't finish the season, they're on top, it's the last game. And
Correct.
so there
Correct.
with the post game, Coach Wright does the same thing with baseball when we got eliminated there in 2015, seniors, talking to the juniors, sophomores, freshmen. And, and as the seniors were talking, and then Coach Addy and Coach Black were even talking, it talks about how we're here for each other. Mm-hmm. And looking across, Coach E and I grew up together, my sister and I, grew up with your older brother. Mm-hmm. So here just with just about 10 of us, Correct. With the Western Branch connection when we were students, fast forward now that we're adults, yeah. And we're still here for each other. Right. And, definitely a true example of what they were portraying when Coach Addy and Coach Black were talking to the seniors, mm-hmm. and then the seniors talking to the juniors, mm-hmm. sophomores, and freshmen.
We did it last year out at Glen Allen. I believe that was the first year I did it. And it is emotional. You're looking at young men that dedicated countless months and days and weeks in 4 seasons, Right. You do it all, right? And you get to that moment where, the football, high school football that we love is cut off. Right. And to see their commitment and dedication, we know some guys moved on to go to different opportunities, but the ones that stayed, like Coach Black emphasized, man, those guys are going to be successful. They're going to be solid. For me, it used to drive me crazy as a assistant coach. No particular coach in general, head coach wise, but as an assistant coach, we hear to our football players who dedicate themselves that you always got a place here. Right. You always got a home here. No, it's a new chapter in life, yeah. And you got me for years, So we always say, give 4, we'll give you 40 back, right. And that's the support. Those are the dark days, the bright days, the successful days, and then the coach, should I make this decision days. So, I thank God for our staff for being that platform for our seniors, not just these guys, but all the ones that we have graduated, with this being our 6th class with the COVID spring, and then following 22 right behind it. So, for us, it's a special night. It is very near and dear to my heart because I still have best friends that I lined down with over 30-something years ago. Mm-hmm. I still got close friends. I still have teammates that I communicate with that, we could always go back to what football is, but what football gave us allows us to be where we are right now. And, so to me, I value it. I want our kids to know that. And for me, as a head coach, as one season closes, it's a new season that begins immediately, and that's the recruitment season of trying to get all our guys in a good alignment, by February. Yeah. This year we don't have any early signees, or I may take that back. CJ Frazier may be our only one in December with the national early signing day. But the rest of our guys be able to sit at the table in February. Okay. And we got quite a few that are being recruited. You know, I just shared with a couple of our players some feedback from our coach, and you know, just got the love button. So it's not over. You know, right. my job is to put these guys in a position to be successful, but their job is, meaning players, to win in the classroom and own what you put on tape. Right. You do those two things, then you know we got a match made in heaven.
Yeah, and you talk about, you know, give me 4 and I'll give you 40. I mean, you know, and talking about the connections, you know, I mean, even with Coach Bright being on the staff, and you know, and one guy just like Coach Jay met him through my brother.
Correct.
And here, you know, I was carpooling with him last week, and I told him, I said, the last time you rode with me was behind the wheel, you know. So you know, Coach Bright. So here at the Bruins, I mean, we got some you know, long time relationships here through Bruin football, you know.
Yes, and
family.
Yes, absolutely. And to me, that was a part of this process of being a head coach. How do we bring guys back? How do we bring the tradition back? But more importantly, how do we have foundation around what West Branch football is? You know, we were blessed to have Coach Lou Johnston for several seasons. And then Coach Bright came on shortly right after him. Right. And, you know, just the rich history and tradition of Western Branch continues to exude through the program. But he's been a blessing. Like, he's been a huge blessing. I miss Coach Bright, if you're watching. I miss our 2:45, 3 o'clock, you know, meetups, man, getting prepped for the day and, you know, catching up on the last day. But, you know, all in all, like I said, I appreciate, you know, all the things that Coach Bright has done for our program and all of our coaches, even Coach RQ. You know what I mean?
That's right. I mean, Coach. he and I know that he's going to be listening. You know, he texted. Well, I texted him on Wednesday or Thursday. You know, letting him know when the time was. You know, and I said, hey, it's going to be Friday night. You know, and he came back and he's like, oh, you know, something came up. You know, couldn't drive 90 minutes to 2 hours, but. You know, he's definitely tuned in, and Coach Gaines showed up at homecoming, and Coach Jay. I mean, he wasn't there in person, but he definitely texted me, and you know, I was already too involved here with the Facebook Live, but you know, here's some you know, longtime head coaches, assistant coaches of the program.
Correct.
And here they were tuned in for this year's team and also, you know, the last couple years.
Correct. So, you know, that's the history and the tradition of who we are. You know what I mean? And our coach's legacy spotlight is still rolling. Right. You know, so we still have 2 more to cover. Right. If that makes sense. But yeah, so it's beautiful. But not only the coaches that are attached and former assistant coaches that are attached, and you know, with Coach Bright, he's a Bruin football alum.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's bigger than just coaching. You know, he wore the blue and gold, right? So, you know, with that being said, it's definitely showing that the program is protected. You know, we got the right guys, we have the right leaders, we have the right coaches, and former coaches that still believe in, you know, the direction we're going. And to me, that gives me assurance that we're right where we got to be, man. That just touched my heart, man. Seniors just coming in, grabbing one more item here or there while they're cleaning out the locker rooms.
And then a fist
bump.
Just
a quick fist bump, you know. So that's what it's about. Go ahead, Coach.
But, you know, the other thing is got to give a shout out here to Ann Bartow, Angie Gaynor, and other people that support the Booster Club. I mean, you know, when I heard snacks on the bus, you know, I heard I thought maybe a power bar and then a bottle of water. Oh no, she had Ziploc bags, you know, multiple snack bars,
Yep.
then
Electrolytes.
electrolytes. I mean, also, here we were talking about the team and the coaches, but it's also awesome here to have a support staff there with the Booster Club.
Correct. They are what drives the program. They are the support. All right, see you later, big fella. All right, they are the support. They're the guys and women. That are. What do you need, Coach? How can we go get it? You know what I mean? Mrs. Elisa Wills. I know she gonna fuss me out. Our Booster Club president. She really kept everything rolling. Right. Mrs. Bartow did a phenomenal job for us. It's like year 17, 18. Some of these kids are like younger.
Boys have graduated and moved on.
Still here. and again, Mrs. Gaynor, Mr. Gaynor, and Big Tony, like all those guys, and many more, many more that have done things behind the scenes. Like we have certain parents that are attached to the Booster Club that fed our kids each week. All those things. And then what makes our field look so beautiful, the mastermind behind the robot is Mr. Angles.
Right.
He's done the paw and the Bruin, filling all that in. So with so many things that are, how can I word it? So many moving parts, and so many things that are crucial to seeing West Branch football succeed on and off the field. And our Booster Club, without a doubt, is a part of that process.
And also, I know that he'll be watching, or maybe his son or daughter-in-law, but, the voice of the Bruins there, Paul Sumner, come in an hour to 90 minutes each home game, getting set up, and then doing the voiceover of commercials.
He is. I tell you what, one thing that summed up Mr. Sumner, Paul, was an official came up to me, I believe either homecoming or senior night, and he said, Coach, this is one of the best pre-game, game day atmospheres I've ever been involved in.
Right.
And, I said, hey, man, we try to have balance. Yeah. We try to make sure, the community also can walk in and feel like it's a great experience, And oftentimes, yes, we go hear the music the kids want to listen to. But just like going to an NFL game, you're going to hear songs from yesteryear, you're going to hear songs from now, so on and so forth. And he's done a good job over the years providing that same kind of voice, play-by-play as well as announcements. So, Paul, we thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, and so as we move in to the off season, I mean, I know immediately, we're cleaning out lockers, we're doing inventory, we're setting up for the banquet, but come the new year, just kind of for the players break now until, off-season workouts when the calendar moves to 2026.
Correct. Right now, no matter when, we played on practice on Thanksgiving.
Right.
We played after Thanksgiving multiple times, right? And no matter when the season ends, as a head coach, I want our boys to be able to spend time with their loved ones.
Yeah, with their family.
I want my staff to be able to spend time with their loved ones.
Right.
Because they have given us their young men from pretty much July all the way to November. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And that's every week, know. So what we will do is kind of go into the holiday seasons, really just decompressing and enjoying, the rigors or lack of enjoying the downtime that we get, and not the week-to-week hustle and bustle. Our staff will probably have a meeting next week to kind of set up how it looks transitioning into December and then into January. And then coming out of the new year, or going into the new year, but coming out of it, we will then start with exit meetings with the staff and all those things, and then staff meetings for game planning, our phase one. of our winter workouts and mat drills and things like that. And that will start about 2 weeks earlier than we have done traditionally. But that is inserting the foundation of lifting. So that is basing it on the mechanics, on all movements, needed, even breathing methods for certain lifts and things.